Last time Duke and UConn met in a group of 4. It was the 2004 Final Four. We'll see if they can meet in the championship of the NIT Season Tip-Off on Friday. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com with a preview of the NIT Season Tip-Off this week from Madison Square Garden. Aside from Duke and UConn, Arizona State, LSU also in the event. Let's bring in our CBSSports.com college basketball columnist, Gary Parrish. And Gary, I think everybody is expecting to see Duke play UConn on Friday. That's what people are hoping for. But they got to get through Arizona State and LSU respectively first. So of those two teams, which one do you think has a chance to pull off the upset and, well, I guess disappoint some people?
I don't think either will do it, but in terms of who has the best chance, LSU, if only because, though they lost a lot, including the SEC Player of the Year, Marcus Thornton, they still got some real talent on that team. Trent Johnson is excellent, and they've already beaten a really good Western Kentucky team. I know that when LSU over Western Kentucky didn't really register nationally, but Western Kentucky is a Sun Belt, predicted favorite, a team that got some top 25 votes, a team that's really, really talented, particularly for a Sun Belt team. And so for LSU to go and handle them by double digits was impressive. I think we're going to head for Duke and Connecticut, but if LSU were to upset Connecticut, it wouldn't be a huge shock.
And Bo Spencer had 28 points in that ballgame, Gary, a career high for him, a junior. Is he the player on this stage that the nation doesn't really know but may know it when this weekend is over?
Perhaps. Certainly if LSU figures out a way to win this thing. He got 28, 7, and 4 in that win over Western Kentucky. And Western Kentucky's good. And so, I mean, for him to go out and post those kind of numbers, as we saw with Wesley Johnson last week, it's one thing to put up 28, 7, and 4 when nobody's paying attention. You do something like that at Madison Square Garden on that big stage, people notice quickly. Bo Spencer absolutely could go from a guy who's mostly unknown in the nation to I don't want to say to the heights of Wesley Johnson, but you'd know who he was.
Gary, let me ask you about Duke here. They're going to play Arizona State on Wednesday. When you talk about the Blue Devils, I know you talked a lot about Kyle Singler in the preseason, and a lot of people did, but is the most important player on that team Nolan Smith?
He's been great so far. I'll still stick with Kyle Singler, though, just because, he's tremendous. He's got the score, he's got the rebound, he's got to go inside and out. He's a serious All-American candidate, a guy who's going to be a really good NBA player. And so, look, that Duke team, I think, has been more explosive than people expected. And granted, they haven't really challenged themselves yet in a real way, and that'll happen this week. But I still think the key to that team is Kyle Singler. To suggest otherwise, I think it's probably overthinking it a little bit. He's tremendous. All
right, Gary, let me ask you about UConn here because they haven't blown out the competition they've played so far. Biggest win was 13, and they have not played a great competition yet. They get LSU, as you mentioned, and then the winner or loser of Duke and Arizona State. What type of team is this without Hasheem Thabeet, Jeff Adrian, and A.J. Price?
They're still super talented, but those losses matter. In fairness, though, there are some schools that can overcome stuff like that. North Carolina is one of them. Kansas is one of them. I think UConn is another, and there might not be another 2 or 3 in the country. Thabeet has been awful in the NBA, just a complete bust, given he was the number 2 pick. But he was a dominant college player. Adrian and Price were vets who knew how to handle adversity on and off the court, and UConn hasn't had to deal with any adversity yet. They just overwhelmed people from a talent perspective. We'll see how they handle it when they run into that, but they are still super talented. From Kimball Walker, Jerome Dyson has come back from injury and looked terrific. I mean, they're a threat to win the Big East, a threat to go to another Final Four. It's a testament to what Jim Calhoun has done there, that they can overcome these losses and still be a relevant basketball team.
Well, 4 NCAA tournament teams from a year ago, and we'll see if we can get 4 NCAA tournament teams when this is all said and done come March. Gary Parrish, thank you very much, sir. Happy Thanksgiving, bud.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, folks, for more on the NIT Season Tip-Off, be sure to stay right here with CBSSports.com. For Gary Parrish, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.